Guys, I literally just saw that we just hit 3,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. I love you so much, and welcome to my channel to everybody. Hey guys, it's me, Alison, and welcome back to yet another book review video. As always, timestamps are in the description, or you can use the chapters feature. Let's get into it. We are going in chronological order of when I finished them. The very first one we're going to start with is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This one is popular on BookTok. I'm sure you guys have seen it at some point in the thriller recommendations. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 though. Let me explain. It had kind of weird writing where it would switch from like first person to third person because it would switch perspectives and stuff. Like, it was okay, but it was a little bit weird. And then it wasn't as suspenseful or exciting as I thought it would be. Let me read you guys the description. So it says, Ellie Mack was the perfect daughter, and then she was gone. 10 years after Ellie's disappearance, her mother Laurel Mack is trying to put her life back together when she meets an unexpectedly charming man in a cafe. Before she knows it, she's meeting Floyd's daughters, and his youngest, Poppy, takes Laurel's breath away, because the eerily precocious Poppy is the spitting image of Ellie. And now, the unanswered questions she's tried so hard to put to rest begin haunting Laurel anew. Where did Ellie go? Did she run away from home, as the police have long suspected, or did something more sinister happen? See, when you read that, I thought it was going to be a much more interesting explanation of what happened to Ellie than what I actually got. And also, it wasn't that mysterious or suspenseful to me because there are really only two possibilities of what could have happened to Ellie as you're reading the book. So it's like, to me it wasn't that exciting, and it didn't live up to the hype that BookTok gave it. The next book is another hugely popular book on BookTok. It is Verity by Colleen Hoover. You guys know I am a Colleen Hoover stan. Okay, actually no, I don't like saying I'm a stan of anybody, but I'm a Colleen Hoover fan. I love her books. Ever since I read It Ends With Us, I'm like, girl, yes, her books are so good. So I had to get on Verity when everybody was hyping it up, and I would give it a 9 out of 10. Hear me out. It was a really good read, but there were too many, how do I put this? Lewd scenes in it for my taste. I was kind of like, all right, that's enough. Let's move past that. I would like to know more about the plot. But besides that, I loved the book. Colleen Hoover's great. Description. Lowen Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Lowen to complete the remaining books in a successful series that his injured wife is unable to finish. Lowen arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Lowen doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night their family was forever altered. Lowen decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents would devastate the already grieving father. But as Lowen's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue to love her. This one lives up to the BookTok hype. It was a very gripping story. The ending, I don't want to say anything, but like, why, Colleen, why? So this one is definitely one of the BookTok books you should pick up. After Verity, I was on a Colleen Hoover kick, so I decided to read Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. This one I would also give a 9 out of 10. The only reason is because some parts were too cheesy for my liking, but like the second half was so gripping, I could not put it down. So their description. Skye, a senior in high school, meets Dean Holder, a guy with a promiscuous reputation that rivals her own. From their very first encounter, he terrifies and captivates her. Something about him sparks memories of her deeply troubled past, a time she's tried so hard to bury. Though Skye is determined to stay away from him, his unwavering pursuit and enigmatic smile break down her defenses, and the intensity of the bond between them grows. But the mysterious Holder has been keeping secrets of his own, and once they are revealed, Skye is changed forever, and her ability to trust may be a causality of the truth. So like, reading that description, I was like, what could possibly happen? What secrets does he have? I was not ready. This is another good book. Colleen Hoover is just killing it. She's just killing it. It's so good. This next book I'm actually going to be fully reviewing in a book review video coming in the future, where I rate the books that you guys recommended to me, because this was actually recommended to me in the comments of, I believe, my last book review video. I will still give you guys the rating though. It is Final Girls by Riley Sager. Yet another author that I love. Riley Sager, I've read 2 of his books. Both of them loved. This one I will give a 9.5 out of 10. For the full review, you guys are unfortunately going to have to wait until I put together my rating books that you guys recommended to me video. This one's a big one on Book Talk. It is Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Book Talk, but I always saw it on the thriller recommendations, and I love me a thriller, as we know. Hear me out. This one's a two-parter, okay? I would give the first few chapters of the book a 7 out of 10, but I would give the rest of the book a 10 out of 10. I guess you guys could average that out how you like. Yeah, so the rest of the book is a 10 out of 10 minus a couple small plot holes that people pointed out in their reviews. I was like, oh yeah, that is a plot hole. You're right. I'm just gonna ignore that for the sake of the book. So the first part was a little bit slow, but then it really picked up as you got going. I think the concept of it, so it's essentially at the start of the book, she's writing a letter to a lawyer. And I think that concept is cool, but the execution wasn't quite there because the way the book is written, you know, it's written as a thriller fictional novel, so you're not gonna, it's creative writing. You don't write it the same way that you're writing a letter to someone. It doesn't feel believable as a letter to a lawyer. It's a great book, it just doesn't feel like a letter to a lawyer. Because yeah, nobody would write a letter with all these creative writing conventions that we have in the book, since, you know, it's a book. But that's just a little nitpicky thing. And also, this book is about a nanny, and if you didn't know, I work at an elementary school, so some of it hits a little bit close to home. But then it's a little bit painful in the sense that, not that the book is bad, it's really good. It's painful in the sense that you're empathizing with the main character, and things just like never seem to go her way, and I feel so bad for her. I honestly did not anticipate what happened in this book. The ending's a little arg again. An ending that makes me go, ah, but I choose to go with the nice explanation of what happens sort of after the book's events. Honestly, this book is so good. I definitely recommend you guys read it. Don't get put off by the first few chapters because it really picks up as you get going. So the last book I'm going to be reviewing today, I actually have not finished it. I've only read 2 chapters, but it was kindly sent to me by the author, so I wanted to include it here for you guys. This is The Apotheon Awakening by Arya White. She was kind enough to send me a copy, so thank you so much for that. So I don't have a number rating yet because I haven't finished the book. For my current thoughts, the beginning chapter was slow, but it's starting to pick up now. I have a couple tips for the author herself with the writing style. One of them, this never made sense to me when I was in junior year of high school, but my history teacher told us, she goes, don't use like has, is, stuff like that for present tense. And I was like, what is she talking about? That is present tense. I don't know what she's talking about. But now I understand what she wanted from us. Essentially, you know, if you're saying stuff like, she is spinning, she has picked up the manure, they're shoveling cow manure in the first chapter. If you're saying stuff like that, I prefer when they would just say, she spins, she picks up, instead of she is spinning, she has picked up. Sometimes, of course, it's necessary to use is, has, was, all that stuff. It's necessary sometimes, but I feel like this author could definitely take some of those moments out and just replace it with she picks up, she spins around. Another thing I would want to tell the author is show, don't tell us. That is a quote that sticks in my head from Alicia Marie's tips on vlogging, but I've also heard that it applies to writing. It's hard when you're trying to get exposition out, you know, because you want to give people the background of stuff, especially in a book like this, which is a lot like Divergent, Hunger Games, stuff like that, so where they're living in sort of this futuristic society where we don't know all their terms and stuff, but I would say show, don't tell us more, if that makes any sense. So like when you're explaining things about their society, when you're explaining things about their room, the people in it. I mean, sometimes the author did really well. Like it was, what part was it? I think it was an argument. Something was happening, but they did a good job there. It's just other parts were kind of like, oh, why are you telling me this when you could just show me it? Another thought, one of the reviews that I read about the book pointed out that the author tries to work in the word fallacious too much, and I feel that now. I see it. Yeah, the word fallacious is kind of awkwardly put in there too much. I don't even know what fallacious means. So, yeah, it's kind of unnecessary. You don't have to use the word fallacious all the time, especially if your readers, like me, don't know what it means. The words that they came up with, because again, it's like a futuristic society, the words are a little bit You know when you have to make up stuff like, oh, those are the tree runners, the crop growers, stuff like that. It reminds me a little bit of the SNL skit, The Group Hopper, where they were making fun of those futuristic, what's it called, like YA novels? The dystopian, that's the word, where they were making fun of the dystopian YA genre. Honestly, the author's totally fine there. It's hard to come up with like dystopian names. But yeah, I'd say if you're into Divergent, Hunger Games, The 100, stuff like that, if you're into that kind of genre, then yeah, you should definitely pick up this book. It's about, oh yeah, let me read you guys the description. 18-year-old DeBrail just wants one thing, to pass the trials and earn her place in the 5 rings. Born from the ashes of 900, no, I can't read numbers. Born from the ashes of 99,942 Apophis, the Five Rings is founded on a simple principle: survival of the fittest. Every year, the 18-year-old members from the Tempest, Durus, Umor, Kalis, and Octus factions must unleash their powers to pass the trials and prove their worth in society. But when Debrail's powers fail to manifest, she begins to fear the worst. A terrifying discovery leads Deb to question the very society she has put her trust in, leaving her with an impossible choice. Now she must uncover the truth, even if it costs her everything. But will it be worth the price she is going to pay? So yeah, essentially, they are living in factions, kind of like Divergent, but they have superpowers. So like there's beast soothers, there's weather people, or like people that control weather, metal, stuff like that. So it's kind of like Avatar a little bit there. Yeah, so that's what the book is about. If you guys are into YA dystopian novels, I think you'll definitely like this. I'm definitely intrigued now because I can sense like a trope coming where there's either going to be a rebellion or she's going to go find like some camp of like misfits and join them. I'm not actually know for sure, but I feel like one of those is coming up, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna uncover. I think it's an interesting concept. The writing can be a little bit cringy at parts. Like when they're talking about like, I think romance is starting to get hinted at, it can be a little bit cringy sometimes. And I think I do want to keep reading it because I am intrigued to know what they're gonna uncover, because I honestly can't predict what they're gonna uncover right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review, and please feel free to recommend some books to me in the comments so that I can make my rating books that you guys recommended to me video. I do have quite a few recommendations from my last couple videos, so I'm gonna have to work my way through that. I got a lot of books on my shelves. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review video. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye guys!